Pam Bondi, the former Attorney General of Florida and a prominent figure associated with the Trump administration, has been the subject of persistent and widespread online speculation regarding her employment status. Contrary to numerous rumors circulating across social media platforms and various online forums, Pam Bondi was not fired from a federal attorney general position. It is crucial to clarify that she never held the specific cabinet-level role of United States Attorney General. Bondi concluded her tenure as Florida's Attorney General in January 2019 after successfully serving 2 full terms, as dictated by state law. Following her distinguished service in Florida, she transitioned to roles within the Trump White House, initially as a special advisor focusing on the critical issue of the opioid crisis. Subsequently, she played a highly visible and integral role as part of President Donald Trump's legal defense team during his first impeachment trial in the U.S. Senate in early 2020. The persistent online queries about her being fired, ousted, or removed often stem from a fundamental misunderstanding of her specific governmental capacities and the clear distinction between a state-level attorney general and the federal position. Thus, clarification is essential for accurately understanding the factual timeline of her public service and her subsequent political involvement. Her departure from her White House advisory and legal defense roles was a planned transition following the conclusion of the impeachment proceedings, not an involuntary dismissal. The enduring nature of these inquiries underscores the significant challenge of distinguishing verified information from online conjecture, particularly when concerning high-profile political personalities. This ongoing confusion highlights the critical need for precise reporting on public figures' career paths and official governmental capacities to combat misinformation effectively. Pam Bondi's extensive career in public service began in Florida, where she dedicated 18 years as a prosecutor, gaining significant experience in the state's legal system before venturing into electoral politics. She was first successfully elected as Florida's Attorney General in 2010 and subsequently re-elected in 2014, serving 2 consecutive 4-year terms from January 2011 to January 2019. During her impactful tenure as the state's chief legal officer, Bondi actively championed a wide array of issues, ranging from robust consumer protection initiatives to aggressive efforts against human trafficking and prescription drug abuse. After completing her second term, she made a significant transition to a role within the Trump administration. In November 2019, Bondi was officially appointed as a special advisor to President Trump, specifically tasked with addressing the nation's escalating opioid crisis. This critical position involved extensive collaboration with various federal agencies, state governments, and non-profit organizations to develop and implement strategies aimed at combating the epidemic. Her responsibilities included policy development, public outreach, and coordination of federal resources. Shortly thereafter, in January 2020, she was named as a prominent member of President Trump's legal defense team for his impeachment trial in the U.S. Senate. In this highly visible capacity, she appeared frequently on national television, presenting legal arguments and defending the president against the articles of impeachment. These specific roles were distinctly separate from the cabinet-level position of United States Attorney General, which was held by William Barr at that particular time. Her direct involvement in the impeachment trial concluded in February 2020, marking the end of her formal, direct engagement with the White House in those specific capacities. The persistent and widespread speculation regarding Pam Bondi's alleged firing or ouster appears to originate from a complex conflation of her various high-profile public roles and a pervasive misunderstanding of the federal government's hierarchical structure. A significant portion of online searches and discussions incorrectly assume she held the cabinet-level position of U.S. Attorney General, a role she demonstrably never occupied. The confusion likely intensified considerably during her highly visible and active participation in President Trump's impeachment defense proceedings, where her public profile was significantly elevated, leading many to associate her directly with the highest echelons of federal legal authority. As a former state attorney general, her familiar title often led to erroneous assumptions about her federal capacity, blurring the lines for the general public. The term Attorney General itself can be inherently ambiguous without the specific qualifier of United States or a particular state designation. Furthermore, the well-documented rapid turnover and numerous high-profile departures within the Trump administration often fueled a climate of speculation about various officials, inadvertently catching figures like Bondi in the speculative crossfire, even when their departures were planned. Todd Blanche, another prominent attorney frequently associated with President Trump's legal matters, is often mentioned in these discussions, further adding to the confusion. Blanche, however, is a private defense attorney and has never been considered a replacement for Bondi in any governmental capacity, further highlighting the significant disconnect in public understanding. The online discourse frequently fails to accurately differentiate between a political appointment, a temporary legal defense role, and a permanent cabinet position, leading to the enduring propagation of these inaccuracies. Official government records and consistent public statements from both Pam Bondi and the Trump administration have consistently confirmed her planned transitions from her various roles, unequivocally refuting any claims of an involuntary dismissal. Her constitutionally mandated term as Florida's Attorney General concluded precisely on January 8, 2019, as she was term-limited from seeking re-election. Following her departure from her White House advisory and legal defense roles after the conclusion of the impeachment trial, reputable news outlets such as the New York Times, The Washington Post, and Politico extensively reported on her subsequent career moves. For instance, a detailed article published by Politico in March 2020 specifically outlined her plans to join the prominent Washington, D.C. lobbying firm, Ballard Partners, as a partner, with her effective start date being March 16, 2020. This strategic career move was a clear and public indication of her post-administration professional path. At the time of her transition, Bondi herself publicly stated her firm intention to continue advocating for issues she deeply cared about, including the ongoing opioid crisis, through her new platform in the private sector. Crucially, no credible news organization, government announcement, or official statement ever indicated that she was fired from her special advisory role or her position on the impeachment defense team. Her departure from these temporary assignments within the administration was a natural and anticipated conclusion, particularly after the U.S. Senate acquitted President Trump. These verifiable facts are readily accessible through public archives, official government records, and established media reports, directly contradicting the persistent online narratives of a sudden or involuntary removal from office. Since her departure from direct government service in March 2020, Pam Bondi has maintained a highly active and influential presence in conservative politics and legal commentary. She officially joined the America First Policy Institute, AFPI, in 2021, a prominent nonprofit organization dedicated to advancing policies aligned with the America First agenda. At AFPI, she holds the significant position of co-chair for the Center for Law and Justice, where she continues to engage in robust policy discussions, legal advocacy, and strategic initiatives. Her work at the Institute encompasses contributing to comprehensive policy briefs, actively participating in public forums and conferences, and frequently appearing as a respected commentator on various national news programs. Bondi also maintains a strong presence in media, regularly offering insightful legal analysis and political commentary on major cable news networks, providing her perspective on current events and legal developments. For example, in June 2023, she publicly offered her legal perspective on the federal indictment of former President Trump, providing analysis on the charges and potential implications. This continued and visible public engagement clearly demonstrates her ongoing influence and relevance outside of a direct governmental role. Her current professional activities are transparently defined and extensively documented through public records and media appearances, further definitively dispelling any lingering notions of a mysterious firing or ouster from a federal position she never held. Her work at AFPI, established in 2021, represents a new chapter in her career, focusing on shaping policy from outside the government.